Hello, this is the recently retired Tom and Melanie Kenney sitting at the Cedar Rapids Airport on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. We're on our way to Honolulu for our Hawaiian vacation. Should be fun.
Thursday morning, this is February 16th, Waikiki. This is looking back at the mountains here outside of town. Looks like rain coming. Actually, it's going to rain in the next couple days, 2 to 5 inches here on Oahu. Anyway, here's our view. Just like I thought last night, down below us is a canal here and a golf course. And so we look across the Waikiki skyline. That is Diamond Head in the back. If we end up taking just one hike on this whole trip, it's to the top of that. And then you really can't see much of the beach, but that's where it is.
Okay, the first stop is going to be Leonard's, a bakery that was recommended everywhere, no matter what you read or what videos you watch. And parking's kind of a disaster. There's almost nowhere to park. So we parked maybe a quarter mile away up some little side street. Placed our order, now we're just waiting in line with the chickens. Okay, we're heading east, going around Diamond Head, following the coast. The Diamond Head Lighthouse. I don't know if I'm surprised or not, but quite a population of homeless people around here. We parked in front of some probably pretty pricey gated homes. Bad weather over the mountains. But I wanted to get a shot of the side of Kahuna Crater. Hopefully you can see it. There's a trail that goes straight up 1,000 steps. We're not going to do that. Stop in here for a couple minutes as we proceed up the coast to take a look out at the surf and at this island behind me that's known as Chinaman's Hat. Also right here is the area where they filmed a bunch of movies. There's a Jurassic Park with 50 other things. So we'll take a tour later in the week. Okay, we just drove through Sunset Beach and by Laniakea Beach, and where the bonsai pipeline is, and it was really crowded. It took us an hour to go a couple of miles, and evidently there's some big surfing competition going on, but we did find this spot where you can see some huge waves and some surfers out in the distance. I don't know if you can make them out, but there's surfers out there. I lost them now. Ooh, there's somebody. There's some pretty big waves rolling in. There's a couple more out there. Yeah, there's half a dozen guys out there. Now on the famous Turtle Beach. I guess usually the beach is loaded with them. But today, I think there's one.
Alright, we've been driving around all day and we're going all the way around the entire island. We've averaged 17 miles an hour. That shows how many times we've been in bumper to bumper stop traffic. Watching the waves roll into the North Shore. Some pretty big ones out there. Melanie was down here taking pictures. And then realized there's this big seal just laying here taking a nap. Oh, he's looking right at us now. Just keep walking. See, he's keeping an eye. He's keeping an eye on us now, wondering what we're doing. All right, things we learned today after driving almost all the way around the island. I thought that the road would be pretty much along the coast, which it kind of is, but almost everywhere between the road and the coast is private property, houses and whatnot. And so you can't really see the ocean for most of the drive. And it's usually just a lot of fences and trees and things like that. I thought you'd have more views of the ocean on the drive around the island. Also, there's a huge homeless population on the island. We saw an awful lot of tents and stuff in the woods near some of the main attractions. And then also a lot of the homes and buildings are just kind of dilapidated, just kind of look kind of rotten. Even the coastal spots, the stuff that's right on the ocean, was really run down. You think that would be just prime property, and it just appears to not be. The other things we saw, there were tons of just free-range chickens. There were just chickens all over the place, just wandering across the road and on the side of the road. And then also, I think about every 10th car is a Ford Mustang, which I was kind of happy to see, and I'm sure most of those are rental cars, a lot of convertibles, but I thought that was kind of cool. Also, in all the places we tried to go, which we kind of thought were all popular spots, which they were, there's almost no parking. Nearly everywhere you went, you had to park on the side of the road, and it was kind of a battle for parking places. Otherwise, some of the parking lots are hardly parking lots, more like just turnouts with space for, you know, even 10 to 20 cars sometimes, but they weren't paved. A lot of really bumpy mud holes, and just impossible to find places to park. So that was a kind of a disaster. But all of that really did help a lot. Later in the week, there won't be as many surprises when we're trying to figure out where to go and what to do. Okay, we're off on a hike. We're going to Makapu'u Lighthouse. Can you show us where that is? Right out on that point. Right, it's gonna be wet. It is raining, but we came to hike, so we're hiking in the rain no matter what. Round trip's about 1.5 miles, so really not much. It's a fairly steep ascent. I don't know if I'm getting it or not. I hope I got that. Oh wait, oh, there's one to the left a little bit. Still going up. Well, not quite to the top, but there's the lighthouse. I like that little footpath over to it. Looking out at Rabbit Island. We're still going up a few more steps. checking out the blowholes that Melanie noticed. Okay, stopping here for a little bit. See this lookout. Kind of anticipating not seeing much at all. We might come back in a couple days when it's bright and sunny, hopefully, and see how much different this looks. I wonder how far in the distance you can normally see. Most likely way out into the ocean. Fog and mist in the mountains is kind of cool looking though. The other end of this in the clouds, like right here. Hit these things. Middle of Waikiki on a Friday night. In the 60s, people came here for the entertainment, not the shopping. So Don Ho was the big star at the time. Almost there. This is us, the tall one up here.
It's Saturday morning, February 18th. I refuse to let Tom do this while he's driving, so I have to talk into the camera. We are headed to 21 Degrees Estates, which is a cocoa farm, for a farm tour and chocolate tasting. And going through the John H. Wilson Tunnel on Licky Highway.
I don't know if you can hear all this, but there's a lot of crazy sounds coming out of this jungle behind me. Sounds like birds and monkeys to me, but probably just birds. Probably mainly just chickens. All right, we're off on the tour. It's raining again, but that's not bad. We're at the 21 degree estate at 21 degrees of latitude above the equator. That's where the name comes from. The word is pronounced cacao, which we were doing incorrectly before. Cacao has only been in the Hawaiian Islands for 20 years. In fact, there's only 200 acres total on the Hawaiian Islands of cacao, but it makes some of the best chocolate in the world.
And did you realize a beehive in Hawaii has the ability to make more honey than any other place in the rest of the country? That's right. We have flowers year-round.
More interesting notes. A lot of the plants are canoe plants brought over on canoes 1,000 years ago. 700 trees. Every couple weeks, they'll harvest 1,500 of these. One pod makes one chocolate bar. That's a really big chocolate bar. Now we're talking about maybe 10 Hershey bars that you buy in the store.
Typical harvest this year, 1,500. Year 1, 2,300. Year 5, 12,000. This year, I think I'm going to be pushing 18,000. I think the secret of doing a good ferment is temperature. 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And keep it there for 10 to 12 days. And every day I'm going to go in, I'm going to stir up this whole mass of seed. And then open air dry. Very, very dry. Like snap in half easily with your fingers. And you can tell, obviously, we harvested right at the correct moment.
All right, here we go.
Is what we smell the fermented smell?
This is the fermented
Then you
smell.
come light it and you get that bitter.
It's all right.
And then the end.
So this one's right out of the
Is
ferment,
it as
about an
soft as
hour.
it looks?
Yes. If you want to you know.
I'm good with watching.
Yeah, okay. So here's a couple more. If
John, do you
someone
wanna try
wants
it?
to grab.
Well, he does the nibs down there too, which is the inside.
Did you want to?
The goal of the fermenting is really to enhance the flavor of the cacao. And so you can tell the.
So what do you think?
I have learned so much about cacao.
Me too.
Now you're going to get the A-team
All right.
chocolate tasting.
All right, great. Well, it's super good to have you back, and all the rest of you welcome.
That tastes like good honey.
It's lighter.
It's a little bit like brown nibs, of course, give you all the nutritional benefits of cacao. But what is the nice
100% cacao.
With coffee? But you can also call it that because it's all sourced from the farm. The first superfood is the
Turmeric
cacao
in it.
itself because this is 70% cacao. So it's like a dark chocolate like taste. Anybody recognize that smell?
Number 2.
For our
Number
most
3.
prolific seasons for harvest, typically we really get these big harvests. And that's when we're having a lot of them. It is, and it's more comfortable or something.
Not as smooth.
Not as smooth.
They didn't have that little. Is it a prominent, different smell?
There's a little change in fragrance, yeah, but when you taste it, wait till you taste the texture difference. This one is super smooth. It's time of the season. So, yeah, that one's really popular. Now, I think you're gonna find it's still very smooth for being an 85. And then tell me if you taste if any flavors come out to you, or you.
All those are dark chocolates, which are 70% cacao and a little bit of cane sugar and maybe a little bit of cocoa butter to make it smooth. Just to note that Hershey's dark chocolate is about, I can't remember what they said, 30 to 35% cacao. All right, we're down in this area somewhere. But we've driven up the coast to almost the northern tip of the island to right here. All right, so what do we have here?
We have a dozen jumbo shrimp and rice, and it's got garlic, sauteed in garlic.
If you'd hear all that, it sounds delicious. Well, we're driving up the west side of the island, and I think we've pretty much driven all the way around the island everywhere that you can go. Back there behind me is the point that we could not come around from the other side when we were driving yesterday. This is kind of a cool spot. I'm standing on some rocks where the waves are crashing right in front of me and coming up almost to my feet. So I'll show you what that looks like. It's kind of cool. Yeah, that came up here pretty far. Just catching the sunset. Holy cow. No time to spare. You get it? Okay, first thing on the agenda today is Pearl Harbor. There is a lot to see here. Visitor Center, and then of course the Arizona, sunken Arizona, and the Battleship Missouri, which are behind me out here. That's what we're going to do today. There's also an aviation museum, which we're probably not going to do, and then also a submarine, which we're not going to do also. There's tons of information in here, way more than I could possibly tape.
was 7:53. Fujita's radio man transmitted a coded telegraph message. Tora, Tora, Tora. It meant complete surprise achieved. Crush American air power before it can get off the ground. Strike the American fighter planes first to gain control of the air. Then hit the long-range patrol planes and bombers so the Japanese task force at sea could not be located and attacked.
Okay, on the boat out to the Arizona. We were reminded that this is not an attraction, but a cemetery site. Definitely see the oil still in the water. Really can't see much, so it's kind of amazing though how much is underwater that you really can't see. I removed my hat out of respect. Again, it's just hard to fathom how big the ship really was and how many people were out here, and not just this ship but all the others. The buoy out here is the bow of the ship.
Right. That's a good question.
The buoy out here marks the stern. Fast 10 minutes, but that is enough. All right, now we're heading on to the battleship Missouri. Taking the guided tour. It was actually the last battleship that was made back in World War II that saw time in Korea, and actually other time during all the way up through Desert Storm. But the thing is 887 feet long. I'm glad already that we took the guided tour. All the information about the guns is just fascinating. That marks the spot where the table was, where they signed the end of the war. Right here on the Missouri. At that time was in Tokyo Bay. Again, tons of interesting information, way more than I could just sit here and record. Again, fascinating. Note to number 13, General George Kenney. He's the only guy not looking straight ahead and off in the middle of nowhere. What the heck is that guy looking at? All right, here's an interesting story. This is called the kamikaze deck, because at one time a Japanese fighter tried to kamikaze onto the deck. A plane crashed right into the side of the ship, and the bomb on the plane and the plane sunk, and there was debris scattered all over the place, started a big fire that they put out. But then they found the Japanese pilot in the wreckage, so they gave him a nice Navy funeral, wrapped him in a makeshift flag and sent him overboard. So nice part of kindness on the part of the American Navy.
This is no big deal.
Nothing to it. But it definitely says, climb down ladder backwards. Things get nicer as you move up in rank. A lot of what we're seeing was updated in the 80s, so it's not all from World War II. I guess I truly am retirement age, because the first place I worked, I typed a ton of stuff on a typewriter exactly like this. In the war room now. Everything's a little more plush. Actually get windows here. But I did want to wrap up Pearl Harbor. I found it incredibly interesting. Learned a lot of stuff about the attack, which is kind of what I was interested in. And I watched the movie Tora 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 about a week ago before coming here. A lot of things I heard and read there were depicted in the movie. I thought that was kind of cool. So I had some idea of what was going on. About 10 minutes out above the Arizona is enough. It really is kind of a somber experience when you think about everything that happened and how it all happened and how many people died there and in the entire attack. But then the Battleship Missouri was interesting. We had a good guide who gave us a lot of information. What? Heidi was her name. She was good. Answered a lot of questions and just had a wealth of information without sounding like a canned speech. So I just thought she did a really good job. All right, we're blocked from the Capitol, walking there now. We read somewhere that this isn't the nicest place in town, and there are a lot of homeless people hanging around. The pillars were supposed to represent palm trees. I don't know if you can make that out up there, but it almost looks like palm leaves. In the center of the building is this mosaic on the floor that's supposed to represent the ocean. The cone-shaped structures here on the sides. It's supposed to represent volcanoes. And we are in a big open area courtyard. Double points to anyone who can read the bottom line on this seal and tell me what it means.
The National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, informally known as the Punch Bowl Cemetery, is a national cemetery located at Punch Bowl Crater in Honolulu, Hawaii.
There are just rows and rows of flat grave markers. There's got to be thousands of them. I know we're looking into the sun here, but this is the Honolulu skyline. Shooting this to try to locate the hotel we're in. And here's another shot of the Capitol building from above. Okay, it's Monday morning, President's Day, February 20th. We're gonna go on a whale watching boat. And I think we need the relaxation because getting over here was pretty stressful. Tell us about the drive over here.
You don't want me to say what I really want to say about the drive over here.
Well, don't use the language that I heard in the car on the way over.
There's some sort of organized run that has blocked off all the streets, and GPS was telling us to go the wrong way on a one-way street, so I had to make it up as we went along, which was stressful. But we're here, and we're on time.
We're backing out of the dock right on time. We've picked a spot on the starboard side. It is another cloudy day. Hiding from the rain, going through a squall.
Out there from that whale that we just saw, looks like we might have a few whales here with us and releasing all of that air. There's another spout right about 10 o'clock.
Come on out. We'll watch you for these whales. Okay, we'll wrap this up. What do you have to say?
There were whales. We saw them actually, I think, better when we were on the tour or the hike at the Lighthouse. That was actually closer, so that was fun.
I agree. Okay, here we are, Waikiki Beach. All right, neither of us are beach people, so we're not going to lay out in the sun.
Which there isn't any.
Which there isn't any. It really hasn't been all week. But we're wading through the water here. But I might wade out there a little ways, we'll see. Okay, pretty crowded out here, even on a non-beach day. Well, I got in the water a little bit, just to say I did. Almost ready to hike up Diamond Head. Our reservations that had to be made were at 10 o'clock. We got here about 9. They wouldn't let us in yet. Have to wait till 9:30. So we're killing a little time here. But then we're going to drive up the hill through a one-lane tunnel and then into the parking lot and start the hike from there. It is really crowded here. People all over the place. First 2/10 or so are paved. But the rest of it is actually rock, not dirt. It's just really uneven. Kind of chiseled out of the side of the mountain here. You taking just a minute break before we do all this coming up here. Trail goes from a couple people wide to kind of single file here. Coming up shortly is the first set of steps, the shorter 74 steps, and then the second set is 99. Check for yourself on YouTube in a week or two.
Okay.
It's actually warm in here and uphill.
He wants to do this.
Okay, right out of the tunnel is the 99 steps.
I just forgot how to use stairs.
Same.
I think I got super tired about 90. Looking forward.
Really, thank you so much. Let me know that. Okay. Oh, yeah.
I forgot we had the spiral staircase yet. Way too tight to film in there.
It's like straight out. Yeah, straight out past the circle line about.
Well, that was fun. The tunnel opens into a pillbox that you actually had to crawl to get out of.
And I can really see the lighthouse.
Okay, more climbing. Okay, overlooking the crater here. Maka, which means towards towards the mountain or inland. And then looking Makai towards the sea. More steps. A couple more steps up a ladder. This is interesting because there's one 5-foot square at the top where everybody wants the money shot.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to wait in line behind all these people to get that ourselves. Okay, from the summit, the quick 360, starting over Honalulu. Quick pass over the South Pacific. Definitely a madhouse at the top. That's what we expected, so that's what we deal with. No problem. Back to the bottom of the steps, heading into the tunnel. Okay, that does it. Back at the trailhead at 11:55. So that was a fun hike. So now I can cross that one off the bucket list. Alright, doing some more driving around. We're at Barber's Point Beach Park. It's definitely not a touristy part of the island. We were really looking for a lighthouse. I think we found it here. Okay, this is called Barber's Point. And the story is that a Captain Barber in 1796 had a ship full of sea otter pelts, and he crashed on a reef out here and sunk his ship. Well, that was really different. The main reason is because it was down a long road through an industrial area with this junkyard at the end of it right next to the beach. So definitely not a tourist area. I'd still try to check out all the beaches on the southern shore. Here's another one that there's no need to go to. There are just rows of homeless people along here. This is our last stop on the leeward side of the island, just to check out another non-tourist beach. The sign said Kualoa Beach, but our map and the GPS said Ewa Beach, EWA, so don't really know what it's called. Another very quiet, windswept beach. Looks like it could rain. Okay, I had to turn the camera on one more time while we're driving. Or I'm driving, Melanie's holding the camera, but just to show that we cannot get through a day without some kind of rain. Okay, back in the room, ending the day with pizza. And we also stopped and got some donuts. We got a lot of comments on the donut box as we were walking around. People seemed to really like it. And pizza's from Slice of Waikiki, which is literally a hole in the wall outside of a hotel. There's just a window you can walk up to and order pizza by the slice or by the whole pie. And surrounding the window is just a big chalkboard, and it's got their menu written on it. So it's actually kind of cool. Okay, Wednesday morning, and I'm assuming I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, Kualoa Ranch. And we're about to take a bus tour to go through the many movie sites that were filmed here. We ride in vintage school buses. This is pronounced Kualoa.
Cattle are grass-fed.
World War II bunker.
This second bunker over here.
More World War II bunkers. Led us off to walk around the largest of the World War II bunkers. Is this all they ate?
This ledge right here, made out of styrofoam, chicken wire, wood, you name it, it's probably in there.
This was Mr. Miyagi's house in Karate Kid 2.
Alright guys, yeah, those are just logs. They have nothing to do with this tour at all. Now if you did take a picture
That was funny.
Please don't delete it, take it home. This is where Samuel L. Jackson actually was standing there, waiting for Kong to come towards him and smash poor Samuel. I thought Sammy was going to last the whole movie. Sorry, Sammy.
Kissing gorillas.
I saw it.
We're going to see our kissing gorillas again. There's our kissing gorillas, guys. When you guys came out of the bunker, you guys saw that Jeep that was right outside of the bunker? That was actually one of our tour Jeeps. They asked if they could use it. We let them borrow it. They pretty much took over. First movie. You guys remember when they were walking down the hill over here on the right side? The family was walking down the hill. Then the Galamanus was running right behind them. And they hit right behind this wall right here on the left. So this is that famous log, guys. Oh, I'm not lying, guys. Now these footprints were filming. These were actually 6 feet deep. Over here on the right.
Ready for the rain now.
Okay, guys, let's see if we can breeze through this one. We will be getting off here if you want to get off. The rain seems to be a little lighter right now. So.
I thought this might be the coolest part of the tour, which it is. We just drove through some heavy rain, but now it's just windy and not raining too much, so it's kind of cool. To me, this looks more like the log that they used to jump over in Jurassic Park, or hide behind when the dinosaurs are chasing them. The 800 weddings a year around here.
Also known as Chinaman's hat, also known as the lizard's tail. So there was a time where Pele, the goddess of fire, sent her sister out on a mission to Kauai. On her way, she ran into this giant lizard over here in Oahu. She fought this lizard for 3 days, finally beat the lizard, cut his tail off, and threw it out in the ocean. So that is the lizard's tail, Mokuli'i.
Of course, the most memorable part will be me falling off the log into the mud, which we didn't get on tape, but we got a good shot of me jumping over it, so that's all we were looking for. All right, we've driven back around to the North Shore. Not exactly sure which beach we're standing on, but we think this is where the best surfing is supposed to be, so we're gonna watch some surfing. Probably pretty small, but that was a pretty good ride there. Next stop. First thing we're going to do is take the train. Like waiting in line at an amusement park.
Of rumbling. It was believed the rumbling sound of thunderstorms common in this area were the voices of the ancestral gods welcoming an offspring of divine rank. The tube is placed between the rows of pineapple. When water is needed, it is dripped from the tubes directly onto the root. The tag. If it says Dole Royal Hawaiian Pineapple on the tag, you've got yourself a genuine Dole pineapple grown right here in the islands.
Half of the pineapple grown here stays in Hawaii.
There's a bit of history on
Most of the rest goes to the West Coast.
Well, it's because the decomposed volcanic ash in the soil results in high amounts of oxidized iron, which in turn causes the reddish tint. The high iron content in the soil is good for growing pineapple. Tree James Drummond Dole. James Dole arrived in Hawaii in 1899, and the following year he bought a 61-acre tract of land right here in Waihua, where he established his first pineapple plantation.
Then it goes on and on. Well, the train ride was pleasant and informative, and it rained a little, but we didn't get wet, so good deal. And now we're going to go inside for a demonstration of how to properly slice pineapple. Hurricane force winds up here. It's nuts. Okay, this is actually the last stop on our itinerary. It's a short walk, paved all the way up to a 45-foot waterfall that falls into a 30-foot deep pool of water, and you can swim, so we might get in when we get up there. Okay, taking shelter from a light rain for a little bit. Good catch. Wow, the sun's even on it. Actually a Hawaiian shot. This guy was sitting up on the railing. We almost bumped into him and didn't even see him. This guy is more than 4 feet long. Huge. Heading to the car in a minute, but waiting for the rain to stop. Still amazed at how the showers will come, pour like crazy for a minute, and then it just blows off. Okay, we stopped here the other day, viewed this from the road above, and nobody was here. But today, there are people. So I thought I'd come down and see if anybody actually does this. Waiting for this guy to go. Oh, if I was younger. As with everywhere else, parking is virtually impossible. Melanie's up here just circling the lot, waiting for me to come back. But I kind of wanted to get that shot. One last look at some turtles, and that might wrap it up for filming on Oahu. Left our condo and we're sitting in the airport waiting to go to the Big Island. Checkout at the place was fast, and check-in here at the airport was really fast.
Returning the rental car is fast.
Yeah, returning the rental car, driving over, no traffic. We're here 3 hours early. As soon as I turn the camera off, Melanie goes, "That's because I was in charge."
It wasn't Kenny time.
Yeah, we weren't on. All right, so we landed, and it took an hour and 25 minutes to get into our rental car. And we're just looking around at the ocean, and this island looks totally different. Hardly any trees, lots of lava flows, or looks like lava rock. Kind of desolate. They were driving all the way around the mountain. Okay, so after jumping to another island on a short flight, and then driving a couple hours, we've driven into, believe it or not, overcast skies. This one's pretty buried in the trees. It is kind of a jungle through here. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Raining again. Okay, we made it to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. We're going to stay at the Volcano House. It's 58 degrees and it's just been pouring rain and foggy and you can't see a thing. Well, I'll be anxious to look at that because I don't know what we got. A lot of people out there, 55 degree, cold rain. A little bit.
Yeah.
We're going down to the Thurston lava tube because it's a 54-degree, pretty steady rain. So it's wet, cold, miserable. And as a reminder, this is Hawaii. Surprised at how it's just jungle up here. I guess I thought this would be kind of a barren wasteland right around a volcanic crater. Okay, it feels like it's raining just as much in here as outside. It's dripping. The floor is really wet. By really wet, I mean, you know, couple inch deep puddle right here. That, thank goodness we're wearing the hiking boots. We can get across. This is me in the middle of there. This is more of the landscape that I thought would be almost everywhere. Just down the road a little way. And making our way down the road. It's about 9 o'clock. Still 55 degrees and breezy. Stop in another crater. And this one is just deep. Another big crater. I guess big is a relative term. Just a lot of lava here. The ocean, literally the end of the road. The arch is 90 feet high, so these cliffs are, you know, probably 80, 90 feet high. And some of these waves are splashing up that high. We're hiking out to see some petroglyphs. It's 7 miles out. It's quite a bit warmer and really windy. Here's some cool looking stuff. Still really windy up here and a little bit of spitting rain. Okay, we're at the sea arch down here. Went to the petroglyphs right along here. And went back up to our hotel. We're going to do a hike up here, but the higher elevations, it was raining again. So we've driven down the road a ways to a black sand beach, looking for turtles. Some turtles sitting right here, 4 of them. Just moving around a little bit. There's another one drying out in the sand.
It was so worth it because we saw many, many sea turtles. Some on the shore, some out swimming. Okay, we're gonna try this, the Kilauea Iki Trail. Okay, so we're here. We're gonna go all the way over to here to catch the trailhead, and then go down some switchbacks and then out into the middle of the crater. All right, this is the Kilauea Iki Crater. We're gonna walk out onto this trail a little ways. Going down the switchbacks. This is pretty far down. All right, here we are. Getting out onto the crater floor. Okay, probably near the middle. Do a 360 from here.
This is the way we came down right here. This looks pretty cool. Glad we came down. Back into the rainforest for a long trudge up to the top. Stepped in a lot of mud there. All right, it's about 5:20. Felt like a snail's pace coming up, but it seems like, I think, it was about the same 40 minutes down and up. So hard to tell. Next stop are the steam vents. Yeah, Melanie just said you can probably see the steam when it's cold, and it's freezing up here at the moment. Back to the same spot we were at last night. And I think there's more eruption to see down here. Try to get Melanie's phone. It's pretty good.
We got to see the volcano again.
2 nights in a row, we got to see some eruption going on out there. We've been here 2 nights, and this is the first time we've really gotten a look at the outside of the building. From the front, outside of the fireplace. It's the usual 55 degrees, raining, and we are up here at about 3,700 feet in elevation. I don't even want to walk to the car in this, so we're giving it 5 more minutes. Okay, sitting in the Kona airport, and we're wrapping up the Hawaiian trip. So we're going to go through our comments and likes and things that we did. We'll start with Melanie. What are your comments, favorites, whatever?
I broke my favorites into favorite tour, and that one was going to be the cacao farm, the 21 Degrees Estates. Michael and Marie were awesome.
Now you're going to get the A-Team chocolate tasting.
All right, great.
We learned a lot. We had a small group, so that made it a lot of fun. We learned a lot about cacao farming or production, and he also had honey. So at the end, we had a chocolate tasting and honey tasting, which was great. But you really could tell the difference in the honey from the honey we get, that's made back on the mainland. So then I went with favorite waterfall. My favorite waterfall was on the Big Island, and it was Aka Falls. I don't know how to pronounce Hawaiian. It was in a state park. We went to Niagara Falls, and that waterfall was 167 feet, which seemed high. This one is actually 442 feet, so it was pretty impressive. My next favorite category is food. So I came up with a few favorites. The first being our visit to the Dole Plantation. We watched a pineapple cutting demonstration, and then we got free samples. And it was so good. It was so sweet. It definitely tasted so much better than what we get on the mainland. One of my other favorite foods was from Lila's Bakery, and that was also in Oahu. And there was this glazed donut, and inside of it, it was purple because it was made with poi. And poi is made from the plant taro, which we saw growing on the island. So that was really good. And of course, the macadamia nuts were wonderful. At the macadamia nut farm, they had different coatings on them, and so we got to sample all those different kinds. And of course, the last favorite food was Dave's. They voted best in the island ice cream. Then I just had some miscellaneous favorites. One being the Capitol. It was really a unique building. The pillars were supposed to be shaped like palm trees, and where the House of Representatives and the Senate, their 2 locations were supposed to be looking like volcanoes. And then the roof, it was totally an open air building. So that made it pretty cool. We did run into our tradition, apparently, of visiting capitals on Sunday mornings and meeting some people who are probably mentally ill, because the same thing happened to us when we were in Trenton, New Jersey. One of my favorite things was a hike to Makapu'u, I think is how you say it, Lighthouse. We were along the coast and we could see whales.
I hope I got that.
We actually saw several whales. We saw a couple that were together, so we think that was probably a mother and a baby whale. So that was pretty cool. We also found blowholes where when the waves came crashing in, they came blowing out, the water came blowing out of the holes.
Oh, that was pretty good.
So that was cool. So those two were on Oahu, and then on the Big Island, it was the Black Sand Beach Park. And the sand was obviously black, but what was really cool is we saw a lot of sea turtles. They were on the shore, and then we watched several swimming in the water, so that was really cool. And the other thing on the Big Island is 2 days that we were there, we got to see the volcano erupt on both days in the evening. So that made it pretty cool because not everybody gets to see that. The final favorite thing, stop. My final favorite thing is usually when we return from vacation, I'm thinking about all the things we need to do to get ready to go to work, and we don't have to do that anymore.
I will agree with that last comment. It's cool to go back home and have nothing to do except plan the next trip. Anyway, as far as planning a trip, going to Hawaii, I think if I had to pick my top things before we came, I wanted to see Pearl Harbor, I wanted to hike up Diamond Head, and I wanted to see lava on the Big Island. So as far as checking off boxes, I'm 3 for 3. So to follow Melanie's lead, my favorite tour, I think, was Pearl Harbor. I just thought it was really cool. I learned a lot about the attack.
Fresh American air power before it can get off the ground.
And I did like the way that when we went out on the boat to the Arizona Memorial, that they said it was not an attraction, but a cemetery, and to treat it that way. So I just thought that was great that they did that. Number 2 in the tour list, I'll echo what Melanie said about the 21 Degree Estate, where they grew the cacao. I really like those guys, and like Melanie said, it was a small group, and I just learned a lot there too. I really just liked the fact that the guy was retired military and wanted to be a gentleman farmer, and then ended up, trying to raise bees as well as cacao, and I thought it was just an interesting story.
Year 1, 2,300. Year 5, 12,000. This year, I think I'm going to be pushing 18,000.
Now, as far as waterfalls, I like the Waimea Falls, just because I got to swim in the big pool below the falls. I just thought that was cool. I wanted to mention animals too. I really liked the turtles on the Big Island at the.
I forgot something.
What'd you forget?
I forgot the monk seal.
That's what I was going to say. We just stumbled onto a beach and almost literally stumbled over a monk seal. I mean, we
thought it was a rock.
Yeah, it was pretty far away, but we didn't realize they were there. We didn't know this one was there, and it kind of ignored us, and we kind of just walked around it. So that was cool just to come upon it without knowing it was going to be there. As far as food goes, I'm not really a Hawaiian food person, so we ate at a famous shrimp truck, but I don't necessarily like shrimp. Giovanni's. And then we ate a poke bowl, which I thought was just so-so. It was full of rice and soggy salad and raw fish, so I didn't necessarily like that either. The one thing that I didn't think I'd like, but did, was on the Dole Plantation, where I had... What?
I forgot the pineapple soft whip.
Yes, the pineapple soft whip.
Or soft serving.
Soft serve Dole whip was really good, so I kind of like that. Lastly were hikes. We did the Diamond Head hike. There were way too many people, but I knew that was coming, and that was kind of a bucket list hike, so I'm glad I did that. I really enjoyed that one. And then finally the last hike was yesterday. We walked about 12 miles altogether yesterday. Did a lot of stuff, but near the end we hiked down into the Kilauea Iki Crater, And I just thought that was really cool hike. Switchbacks down through the rainforest. You pop out into this just kind of a vast crater with hardened lava floor to it. So I just thought that was a cool hike. I did enjoy that. Okay, that'll do it. Aloha.
Aloha.